Everybody. Good. Oh, thank you for remembering that part too, Delora. I'm a little slow on the draw. So I'm so glad you guys are here today. We've got a bunch of folks that signed up, which means that we're doing something that's getting your interest. And part of what I want this to be is more of a conversation. I'm sure you've been on webinars where it's just all about pitching and this and that and the other. But what we're asking you to do is to make a commitment to changing your career, to changing what you're doing in your life for the better of the world, honestly. And that sounds like a very bold statement, but it truly is the thing. Many people will not change what they're doing for themselves until they see the change in their pets. They see what's happening there in their dogs and cats, and it's all good stuff. And Celine, I am delighted you're here while you're working. If for any of you, would love to hear. You're welcome to unmute and just talk. We're going to make this more conversational. But Celine, if you want to keep grooming away, that's amazing. But for others of you, tell us where you're from, what you're doing currently, why you're thinking about holistic pet health coaching. That would be amazing. And I've got a little respiratory infection, so I'm gonna keep hitting the tea and honey. So yeah, don't be bashful. If you want to put it in the chat, if that's easier, do it. But I'm so happy you all are here. I'm gonna see how many.
Well, I'm an animal homeopath here in New Zealand.
Cool.
It's 7 a.m. in the morning at the moment.
Yeah, it's bright and shiny.
Yeah, so I have a very busy practice doing animal homeopathy, and I just want to expand on it a bit more and just get into more of the whole, looking at food, looking at supplements, looking at other options, because yeah, there is a huge need for it here in NZ, which everywhere, I suppose.
Exactly. And thank you for sharing that. And that's one of the things we try to do within our community is certain people have certain skills that they can help others start to understand and use in their own practices. So that is amazing because we've had a couple of veterinary homeopaths come in, Dr. Jeff Feynman. But if you've got innate working knowledge, that's amazing because homeopathy is such a profound modality. But I think that there's always, as the saying goes, more than one way to skin a cat, if you will. But I think in some cases we need everything for that dog or that cat that's in such a dire strait. So thanks for piping in. Who else have we got on the call with us? I'm trying to make this show more people, but it doesn't seem to want to do that today. And if not, if you're all feeling shy today, that's okay. I'll just jump into it. So we've got several people here on the call with us today. One is Delora DeVore, my right-hand woman that is the program administrator. She keeps all of the balls up in the air, coordinates between the mentors through the program. We've got Leah Bookhammer, who is one of our early graduates and actually has developed a quick start program, which she's going to be talking about. I don't remember if it's this week or next, to help coaches get started on getting clients going and getting people to shift their mindset about what is health and nutrition. Melissa Cohen's joining us. Also a new graduate, Sandy Reynolds, who's been with us for a long time. Paula Davies, who is a current student. Rana Soliman is our enrollment counselor. So she is the person that many of you may have already spoken with. And that's kind of where we are. So there's a couple of things I want to make sure you've got. I don't know if you all have received the brochure about the program. Oh, Lenny, cool. Good on you, man. Thanks for showing up. Lenny's a really amazing guy that has decided to pivot his life into taking care of pets. So But at any rate, I want to make sure that you have a copy of the brochure so that you've got some information about the course, what it entails, what's available, and I'll go through some of that today on the call. And so here we go. So first of all, I want to congratulate you for joining us today, because it takes grit and determination to know that you need to change and to know that you can be part of the change. I think we're in a very interesting time right now where the world is in upheaval, just flat is. There's no two ways about it. But in the United States, we have a very interesting candidate for Health and Human Services, somebody that understands that the problem is starting in our food chain, in our system. And so I think that's going to be very interesting if Robert F. Kennedy Jr. becomes confirmed without too much of a hassle. I'm sure there'll be some fights about it, but that's going to really radically start to change how most Americans are beginning to think about health. Because we've been like, oh, just take the pill, you'll be fine. And clearly that got passed over to our pets, and that's not working out so well, is it? Have you all had that experience? You just go to the vet and they're like, oh, just take this medication, they'll be fine in 2 weeks. And they're not. Or you can use this pain medication for the rest of your dog's life safely. Yeah. So that's not working out great. So what I want you to know is that this program was born out of your frustration. I'm slow mad. If you don't know me, I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts. I should probably start with that. We sold everything in 2018 and started traveling, and I was doing one-to-one consultations as we went. And when the pandemic hit, people's frustration levels were astronomical because, there are stories of people sitting with their dogs in the stairwells of emergency rooms for 14 hours trying to get their dogs sutured up. We had a situation with one of our own pets at the time. We set out the clinic outside the clinic for a good 3 hours before they could bring Mona in. I got to go in the clinic, probably because I'm a vet, and then we sat there for another 3 hours waiting for the vet to come in. He came in, did a super cursory exam. Oh, yeah, she's probably got a urinary tract infection. Would you like this urine sample to make sure? So it's just like, holy smokes, what is going on? And I know that was an incredibly stressful time. And unfortunately for my conventional colleagues, it has not gotten any better. So it was kind of the culmination of overwhelm and corporatized medicine saying, you got 5 minutes, buddy, in the exam room and get your job done and out of there. Maybe it's a little bit longer, but it's just been incredibly frustrating for pet parents, for veterinarians, for veterinary staff, all the way around. And I think that there is some knowledge that the system is broken, but for most of the folks in the conventional world, they don't even know where to start with trying to fix it. So there is all of that. So as we were doing consults, my people were just not getting the correct basic information. And what I found myself doing is saying things like, when you go back to the vet, ask them X, Y, and Z, and ask them for this lab test, and ask them, this and that and the other. And what I came to realize is that I wasn't the one that had to be doing that, that people just like you, that are lay people, you've been around pets forever, your groomers, your dog walkers, your pet sitters, your dog trainers, you have seen your clients' pets go from happy, healthy puppies, happy, healthy kittens, to really sick 4, 5, and 6-year-old animals. And there's something that's right for what's, but I think tend towards kind of whatever somebody on social media is talking about at the same time, the loudest. And so that's not a very useful thing either. So that's the other goal of this course, is to provide you information at the level of a veterinarian and veterinary technician, which can be daunting for sure if you don't have a medical background. The course is approved for 40 CE credits for veterinarians and veterinary technicians in the United States and Canada. I'm super happy to say that we just went through that approval process again, and the course was renewed on CE Broker, which is great. And here we are, 2 years into this program. We have 90 graduates, and we have about 100 students that are working their way through the program. And obviously, we are enrolling students every month. So my goal for this call is to help you understand what the program is, what the course can do for you, the support that's available in it, what's included, and help you determine if this is your next logical step. So how many of you think that you can't help a pet if you're not a veterinarian? Just out of curiosity. Yes, no, maybe. Yeah. Right on, Leah. Yeah. Right on. Yeah, and Janine, exactly. You're a licensed vet tech and a dog trainer, and you've been in the, I mean, since 2007. It's scary, the number of changes in that period of time. And this is it, is that you are the perfect position because you are speaking to that pet parent every day. And you are the one that they believe. They don't necessarily believe me anymore or my conventional colleagues because we're blowing through an exam and a visit that should take an hour in 7 or 12 minutes. So that's my point, is that you can indeed help pets without being a veterinarian, without having that medical expertise, because chronic disease ultimately, Western medicine doesn't do a good job with. We can get you out of trouble, but we don't have good options to help you feel better and actually heal. And that's where a more holistic approach or an integrative approach is just critical to keep people and pets healthier and happier. So one of the things I want you to think about is, what if this new year wasn't just about resolutions? What if it was about a revolution? And what if in your life, in the life of pets, that revolution was able to extend happiness, joy, and health, and that you were the agent of change in doing this? So we think about Gandhi's quote that, be the change you wish to see in the world. He didn't actually say that. He said, we but mirror the world. All the tendencies present in the outer world are found in the world of our body. If we could change ourselves, then the tendencies in the world would also change. As a person changes their own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards them. And that's what we're starting to see, is the people that stand up and say, I think we can do something a little bit differently, and keep saying that. Do you all know what it was that Gandhi actually was lit the fire under him to lead his people to freedom? It was salt. The British prohibited the Indian people from making their own salt from the sea, a free and easily available resource, and they forced them to buy their highly taxed inferior product that was literally being shipped from thousands of miles away. Salt is what caused India to freedom from colonial oppression. How trivial is that, and yet world changing, right? So, I mean, it's just like, God, it's out there and we can do it. It's one of those deals. It's going to be slow to start with, but we're going to get there. And the deal is to be persistent and patient. And as Wilma Shaw, another one of our coaches, likes to say, is to plant seeds and know that at some point somebody is going to have that seed open and blossom for them. And they're going to be willing to hear more of what you have to say for them. So right now, I would like to ask Leah to say a few words about her experience in the course. She's a little nervous, but she's an amazing woman. So go for it, Leah, please.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. So I found Dr. Ruth. It was it's been about a little over 2 years ago now. I've been on a journey of health for myself and was working with clients as a nutritionist, trying to get I got myself healthy. But then I had dogs dying of cancer. It's like every dog I'd had died of cancer. And then between 2020 and 2022, 3 of my dogs died of cancer. And the last one was barely made it to 8 years old. And I'm like, what the heck? I thought I had been implementing better nutrition, better practices, natural homeopathic stuff with them. So I'm like, why am I still getting dogs with cancer? And literally 3 weeks after my last dog died of cancer, Dr. Ruth came into my view, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just knew innately she had the answers. And I never looked back. I met with her, talked with her, told her what had been going on in my journey of 20 years of dogs. And she said, she gave me a couple little synopses, oh, it's probably X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, oh, no way. And so I knew I had to dive in and take the course. It is a beefy, very dense course that you're just going to learn so much if you decide to take this leap, and to then work with people and start changing mindsets from conventional to, hey, real herbs work, mushrooms work, things that, I could grow in my backyard if I wanted to, or in my garden. The dog in Portugal that's 31 years old right now grazes in his garden, a 5-acre garden, and they feed him table scraps and what they eat. And he's 31 years old. I have another friend that I didn't even know that has always fed their dogs real food, and all of her dogs live into their 20s. I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't you tell me this? So anyway, Dr. Ruth's course, you learn so much more than just about food. You learn how the body works, how to work with different nutraceuticals. And now I have a newer pack of dogs that 3 of them have grown up on me cooking, and they're so darn healthy. I haven't spayed or neutered. I gave my male a vasectomy, so he couldn't get my girls pregnant. But everybody's really intact. So it's great. The vet says, if you don't neuter him, he's going to be aggressive. And I'm like, what do you mean? Aggressive? And he was like, that behavior of humping everything. He doesn't do that. So it's, they put that fear in your brain that, oh, if I don't do this, then this is going to happen. So always question. If you feel innately that it's not right, send Dr. Ruth an email, send, one of us an email, go into the group. This is such a great, diverse group of people with so many different knowledge modalities. And we come together for one goal, and that is to help change the world with our pets and change that mindset. So anyway, I could ramble on and on. Dr. Ruth is wonderful. The course is wonderful. The community is great, and she has really created something that I think is going to take us far with changing people's mindsets.
Thanks, Liam. I mean, it really, and that's it. It is time for a revolution. We have to step up and make this change, not only for our pets, but also for people, because we are sicker in the United States than ever before. We spend so much money on healthcare, and the results that we get are just pathetic in many times. So this is it. We can teach people how to support their pets, how to keep them healthy. Then they'll start to say, maybe I should lay off the Doritos a little bit. All right. So one of the things you talked about was our course. And I think this is where I think I screwed something up here. There we go. This is where I want to share what the course itself looks like with you. Let me make sure I'm doing this correctly. Sorry, technical difficulties. Sometimes this plays right and sometimes it don't. There we go. So we house our course in a platform called Circle. And the reason is that it is completely private. It is shielded from the outside world. We have a Facebook group, a public group of 54,000 people. And just this morning, we were discussing in our team meeting that two of the coaches had their Facebook profiles dinged because they were trying to discuss vaccination protocols. Not saying vaccines are evil incarnate, just rational approaches. So I think this is becoming more and more important to be able to have a place where it's our community. We are not beholden to what other people think we should or shouldn't talk about. So everything is in here: the course, the community, the International Holistic Pet Health Coaching Association, and ultimately parent course, and then a group for um, people that are purchasers of the original Crock Pet diet. So this is what the course itself looks like. If we have this divided into 14 modules altogether, we've got a bonus heart disease module as well. The first two modules are all about the things that nobody wants to do to start with, but because it is so important to us that you become successful in this new profession very quickly, we make you do it up front, because it's just, oh, thank God this is over. Now we can get on with the good stuff. And literally, each of the modules will contain in which there is usually a video, a download or two, a transcript, and then a workbook for each module. So we try to make this as easy as possible, and hopefully this will, yeah, it doesn't want to, but at any rate, this takes you through all 14 modules. That's when we're in admin mode, it shows us a different view. So let's see if I'm smart enough to do this today, and I don't think I am. There we go. So I'll go back to the course view. So each of those modules, the first two, as I said, are just pulling the technology together you're going to need to be able to do remote consultations. And then the second module is thinking about what your business will be, thinking about things like branding, avatars, all of that. And if that sounds like Greek, you are not alone. And then it will get better once you get in there. And then we start with the iPets approach. So combining integrative medicine, which is a combination of conventional plus functional medicine, plus traditional Chinese veterinary medicine, plus whole foods diets. And then following that, we talk about food. I developed the original Crock Pet diet, which is a cooked diet based on traditional Chinese medicine to help support the body. We have many people that are raw feeders. And in fact, we will be partnering with Feed Real to provide more information on that. So there'll be more about that coming up soon. And then we go into gut function. We have several at-home tests that you can order for your kids to help them figure out what's going on. And then we go through each of the organs: the liver, the kidney, the endocrine system. And then throw in another business course. When you get to this sixth module, after you've completed all this information about the gut, we want you to start working with people just in modifying the diet. Because if you do that one thing, it is astonishing what you can accomplish in terms of improving health and outcomes for those pups. So as we roll through, then we go down further into skin, musculoskeletal system, brain, behavior, neurology, emotions, cancer, the big ugly one, autoimmune disease, and then, as I said, a bonus module on heart. And then this module is totally about setting up packages and how to incorporate that into your practice. Now, with each of these, we require homework. Some of it's written, much of it is recorded on video. And the reason is that we want to be sure that you are able to confidently and competently discuss these things with your clients and have the information be prepared so that you can deliver that with ease. So yeah, and so Denise, each of these modules includes a workbook. So you get the core concepts of each of the module there in the workbook. You can download and then write notes on as you go through them. And then we go back over here. The other big component is the events that we're doing on a regular basis to educate ourselves. That's right. And so we had Catherine Jepson, our first UK holistic pet health coach, graduate, which is absolutely amazing. And then you can see some of the questions that the coaches are asking, for their own pets, for their clients' pets, some of the events that we are doing. The coaches collab is for our graduate coaches. Melissa Natanson, one of our graduates, actually was an anchor in the LA market. And so she's doing these weekly interviews with our coaches to help them, learn how to, expose themselves and get the information across. And then within each of the areas, there's a space to ask questions to me specifically, just to give updates about how things are going for you. And then we give updates with graduates. Any tech issues can be resolved here. And then the coaching call recordings. So we do 3 coaching calls every week. 1 is only for graduates, 2 are for grads and students. And I think that's important because then you're able to hear about cases they're working with and learn about how this is working in real life. And then the supplementary materials here sounds innocuous, but there is so much information in here. So various protocols. We just updated our complete PDF of all of the supplements for various health conditions. So all of this stuff is in here. There's how to build a chart form, how to use Zoom, all of those things, so that we've got you covered on all of that. And then, as I said, all of the recordings are there. And then from there, as you graduate, then you can join the International Holistic Pet Health Coach Association. We have weekly calls, as I said there. There's a business building call every week. And this is where we can really support each other and help each other grow and learn and do all of the things that are so important in terms of building each other up, supporting each other when we get frustrated, and supporting each other in terms of how are we going to make a difference for this individual pet? What do I do when this happens? So I hope that's making sense. I'm going to ask Melissa to say a few words, if you would, of kind of about what your experience has been, and
Sure.
that'd be amazing.
Sure. I'd love to. So I'm a recent graduate. I finished in October. And I'm going to echo a lot of what Leah said. I had a myriad of animals with health issues. And while I continued with little improvements here and there with diet and everything else, I still was losing pets at early ages. I was seeing diseases, so on and so forth. And then, of course, last year with the whole pet food debacle that started, I came across Dr. Ruth's program in a Facebook group and decided to check it out. And so that pretty much started my journey. And yeah, there's a lot of information, and it is a very dense course, as Leah said, but it has been so helpful and very enlightening. And I actually, after going through, am more confident of getting on, I call it my soapbox. Whenever I meet people and we start talking about food and we talk about dogs and we even talk about behavior and everything else. And I'm like, guys, think about it. You eat a whole plate of pasta. How do you feel afterwards versus eating a salad? And then we start going down that trail, right? So I've seen immeasurable improvements in my own pets and am looking forward to helping others with theirs.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Melissa. It's really awesome. Um, and Jill, you're asking how long does it typically take to do the course? The course is set up to do in basically 16 weeks. We give you an additional 30 days to complete all of your homework and final examinations. So it is pretty intense. And so that's something you do need to be aware of, is to be able to commit the time that you're going to need to do that. And how much is that on a weekly basis? It depends on where you are. If you've got some medical training, it may take you 3 to 4 hours a week to do the course materials. If you really don't, then it may take you 10 to 15 hours. And we do indeed give you a certification. There's a lovely paper certificate, and then also we have a digital version that's available so that you can add that to your social media credentials as well. And Janice, I'm so sorry to hear this, that she recently lost her 8-year-old dog to stomach cancer this summer. And really, it is geared towards anyone. It is taught at a very high level because the goal was to teach veterinarians and veterinary technicians. And ultimately, if we are certifying you, we want to make sure that you understand everything in terms of anatomy, physiology, all of those things, as well as both a functional medicine approach and a traditional Chinese veterinary medicine approach. So it is definitely intense. We've had a lot of folks that have gone through human coaching program, functional diagnostic nutrition, and they have been like, wow, that was a lot. But the goal is to give you the information so that you can be a very effective pet health coach, and also give you the information to fall back on when you're stumped with a case. So one of the things I mentioned is the coaching calls. One of the things I failed to mention is our mentors. And so during this program, you will be assigned to a mentor. And these are our 4 mentors currently: Michael Daly, who actually worked with me in my last brick and mortar practice; Deb Tubert, who I've known for probably 10 years at this point, and met for the first time in Chicago in September. Deb is a maverick. She started doing this on her own 10 years ago and just figured her way through. But even with her vast knowledge base, she still was just overwhelmed at the uh, amount of information that was present there. There is a lot to learn, and the point is not to be overwhelmed, but to know that it's there and you know where to find it. Jessica Fisher had started in dog training. She has an amazing podcast, which she's really parlayed into giving all sides of the issues around pet care. And Natalie Lampus is, started out in the home protection, well, not home protection, but home renovation world. But because of her love of dogs, she ended up becoming a mentor because her class work was just exceptional. So they come from a myriad of backgrounds. We need to update this photo because we have so many more coaches now. But y'all, this has truly been the honor of my life. We got to meet in person, about 20 of us in Chicago in September. And that was one of the most joyous meetings I've ever been to, because it was like, we really are real. And this is making us real. And the majority of folks work online. There's a few that have been successful in working with their veterinarians. We're trying to educate veterinarians about how they can work with you all. But veterinarians were slow to change, sadly. So that's coming, and there's a lot of changes coming for the good. All right, so now we get to the really juicy parts. And how much does this cost, Doc? This is a fairly expensive program. We saw the Royal, what do they call that thing? The Royal Education System, or whatever they're called, for $98. And, I went through and bought the course, but basically it's an AI course. And so the information you're getting there is pretty minimal and very basic. because we are so hands-on with this, it is a costly course. There's a couple of ways to go about this. The whole course is $6,000. If you pay in full, we immediately take $1,000 off. For this month, if you make a commitment by midnight tonight by PST, I will ask you to do that by making a deposit, which Rana or somebody will put a link to in the chat there. We will take an additional $1,000 off. So you are getting the year-end special because we want to start as many people as possible into the new year right. The other thing we will give you is 6 months of free access to the International Holistic Pet Health Coach Association, which we talked about a little earlier. But essentially, this is a way for you to have continued support through the coaching calls, through the community, and through supporting each other. We have continuing education speakers at least on a monthly basis. We're doing a bunch of education right now on medicinal mushrooms with Dr. Rob Silver and Lee Carroll, who's one of the preeminent herbologists in the world, and mycologist, I should say. And you get a vibrant supporting community. You also get access to speak with the pet parents on the Facebook group. Again, that's a 54,000 person group where the goal is that you all, the graduate coaches, are the only ones that are speaking to the coaches or to these folks. We're not getting, tricolloidal silver for everything because it's the end all and cure all. So you are giving them specific information and then cutting off comments so that there's not a free for all like there is in other groups. So I think that's just not been of much service. The other thing that I'm super delighted to tell you about is a 100% finance option, meaning they do a soft pull on your credit, but almost everyone is guaranteed to be approved. With this, we will give you a $500 discount and the 6 months of Holistic Pet Health Coach Association. You can pay over 12 months. It's a little less than $271 every 2 weeks. And that's kind of it in terms of what I've got to show you. We've got a couple of other coaches on here with us. Sandy, if you wouldn't mind saying a few words, that would be amazing.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to say some wonderful things about the program. Maybe I'll come at it from a little different approach, Dr. Ruth. I know that when I found your information, I was traveling and you came up on my feed every single day, and I ignored it, but I'm glad I didn't. The questions that I had, though, when I was interested in the program, how much support do you get, and things like that. I can't begin to tell you the community and the companionship with the other coaches is absolutely amazing. If you yourself don't have a vast amount of knowledge about a certain customer that you're working with, or you want to learn more, we have a chat. You can drop it in there, and someone who does have more knowledge can help direct you. Because once you go through the program, it's a lot in a good way, but you just leave wanting to learn more and more and more. So when Dr. Ruth talks about us having these extra trainings and different speakers, it's great to jump on all of them, because no matter what it is, even if it's not something that you're currently dealing with in one of your own pets or your clients, the opportunity to get that knowledge is just amazing. So you want to soak that up. I find that I do a lot of the extra classes and trainings just because I'm fascinated and I can't wait to learn more. So if anything, this course just wakens that in you and makes you so excited to help pets and to further your knowledge and the mission. Because once you start talking to people out and about and in public or whatever, they didn't even know that we exist. And the word just spreads from there. And when you start to see the changes from just a few subtle changes, just like Dr. Ruth mentioned, If you just get a dog off of kibble and onto whole foods, what you see in 2 weeks will blow your mind. And the pet parents get so excited. And that's not even the ones that you may need to help with kidney care or kidney disease or a cancer protocol, all of those kind of things. And when you become a new coach, it's kind of scary. Yes, in training, we do videos, we do Zooms, which was not my favorite part. It took me a long time to be comfortable with that. But I'm here to say I got over it. Now I'm fine and just keep saying yes. But you have the ability to change those pet parents' lives, even if it's a little minor tweak. Like my dog has had diarrhea for 4 years. Those things are fixable. And I can't tell you when I get emails and messages from people like that, that it has just changed their lives, not to mention their pets' lives. It spurs you on to just want to do more and more and shout to the world. And I think that that's why a lot of us coaches come on to support Dr. Ruth when she does this kind of thing, because we can't say it loud enough and often enough at how amazing this feels and what it can do for your life.
Wow.
That was my internet. It's been bad all day.
It was amazing. But I mean, this is really it. This really is a movement. And I mean, it's a little weird for me at times, but the devotion that all of the coaches and the students have to making an impact in pet health is amazing. I mean, Penny has a holistic pet store in DC. She has an abundance of knowledge, and she still took this course. You know, Beth Rinciar is an amazing trainer, and we were talking today to Dr. Pamela Dragos about Valley fever, and Beth's like, "You mean this puppy that I got from a rescue out of Texas, that could have been what killed that puppy?" And it's like, damn, I wish I'd known that then. But this is the point, is that the more knowledge we all have, the more power we have to make a difference. And that's what this is about, is as well as taking back power over health. We gave up, we abdicated our responsibility to ourselves and to our families with the current healthcare system. And we just said, okay, doc, I'll take the pill. This is time to take responsibility for ourselves and for our actions. If we hang out and eat Doritos and popcorn, that is, I mean, I think you can all agree with me, that's not going to help us move the needle forward in terms of health. So this takes a certain amount of evangelism to move forward. And it's a little weird sometimes, but when people get it, you see that light turn on, it's like, well, wow, holy smokes. And Jill was asking, do we have Canadians? Yes, I think we have 5 Canadian coaches now. I've lost track. We've got a student in Estonia. We have French, actually she's Belgian student, or coach rather. We have a graduate in El Salvador. We have 2, I think, students in Mexico, one in Monterey. They have a beautiful business where they deliver fresh raw. So yeah, so lots of stuff. So right now I'm going to quit talking and let you all ask questions. So feel free to drop them in the chat. Unmute yourself, whatever you prefer to do. Right on. No questions? Beth, good to see you. You finally are in stable internet. Paulette, enjoy your day at work. This will be here when you get back too. Thanks. Yeah. Check in with Rana. Cool. Beth, if you've got time to say a couple of words, I'd love that, because man, you are it.
Can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Can't believe it. I got the audio to work. That never happens. I made it home. I was in a rainstorm I'm a little wet and disheveled, but uh, it's pouring on the East Coast right now. We have some bomb cyclone thing coming through, which is fascinating, as it when those always hit. I can't say enough about this course. I mean, I could go down a million rabbit holes as to why I joined. I got to meet Dr. Ruth in person at the first Feed Rail, and that kind of sealed the deal for me because I had heard about the course prior to going and meeting her, but it was, I needed something to tie everything together. I've been training for 20 plus years. I've been fostering, teaching canine and feline first aid and CPR. So I just needed everything to tie together for me, and this made sense because it gave credibility to what I know, and I learned so much more through the course, which was great. But it's nice to have the community and have the backing that I didn't have before as a solo. I've been working with food and behavior for, I don't know, probably more than 5 years at this point, with my training clients, and seen a lot of success. But a lot of people still fall back on what my vet said. So now I have what my vet said, and and I have the backing. So it really does make a difference. It was really a no-brainer between the extra stuff we learned. Dr. Ruth was saying, I learned about valley fever this morning. Had I known that 2 years ago, I probably could have saved little Hazel, but it's a bummer. But I know going forward that I can actually use the knowledge, and it's continuously we're continuously learning, and we're all learning from each other, and we have animal communicators and trainers and holistic human coaches that can help us, and it's just one giant brainstorm, which is a lot of fun. The community, the things that we do in the community afterwards to help build businesses. We have Dr. Loudon on board now, who's helping us figure out how to start businesses for those of us that hadn't started them before. I had a business in play, and I've learned so much from that because it was, heck, I'm good at what I do. I'm just not good at running a business. So now I'm learning how to do that. So it's an all-inclusive course. It's well worth the money. And it's a lot of work. It's not easy. It is a little bit easier for those of us if you've been doing it for a while, because it kind of makes sense. But if you're new to this, you will learn so much. It's so worth it. So that's what I got.
That's pretty amazing. So, excuse me, y'all. Jill's asking, can you start anytime the enrollments are open? Meaning you can begin the course anytime you want to. So that's been super useful for a lot of our students, is that, we're not starting on the 1st of every month. It's coming up in the holidays where people are, life is a little too frantic maybe. And so we get it. We want to make sure that you're starting off on an even foot. I think the big things for people are, am I going to have enough time to do this? And I think if you're good at budgeting time, or even if you're not, this is kind of the trick I learned for myself, is that when I wanted to really start learning something, like I went through the American Board of Veterinary Practitioners review course. And what I did was budget out 6 hours every week to get through that course. And then on the weekends, I'd spend another 10 hours on a deep dive. That was a lot of time, but it amped up my knowledge game to the point where I was able to make a huge difference for my patients conventionally. And then when I started studying traditional Chinese veterinary medicine on top of that, that was another thing. I'm making a commitment of 15 hours a week to learn and understand and implement this material. And so you will hear that over and over again. Carrie, great. I hope we see you soon on a coaching call. That I want you to implement, because what happened when I saw at the Chi Institute, there were probably, 40 veterinarians in my class. And I would say 10 of us went home and stuck needles in every dog we could find and every cat we could find. And the other 30 didn't do the first case until they had to for their examination. And that's what Dr. Shea, our teacher, kept saying: put needle in, dog. You can't help if you do nothing. And that's precisely it. if you do nothing and you don't change and you don't make the investment in time, things are not going to change for the better for your pets, for your family's pets, and for those pet parents that so desperately need your help. I think I've said all I can say. If you've got questions, we are really, really happy to answer them. We've uploaded the information on how you can make a deposit. Again, if you make that commitment before midnight tonight Pacific time, we will give you this really once in a lifetime discount for pay in full and then the financing option through My Abundant. And Audrey, please go for it. You didn't get to say a thing yet.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to, we talked a lot about how it's helped our own animals. I'm not going to go there or I'll cry. But what I want to say about the program, I am a retired pharmacist, and when I retired in October of whatever it was, 23, year and a half ago, I knew I wanted to do more with pets, and I'm already a certified animal aromatherapist. I'm a certified clinical aromatherapist. I've done a lot with essential oils. But when I saw Dr. Ruth's course, I'm like, oh, this is it, right? Because you start realizing I love essential oils, but what about diet? What about all these other things? And so I saw the course. I'm like, I've got to do it. And it was awesome. And some of the reasons, I just want to talk more about the course. The reason that I thought it was so good, a couple things. I really enjoyed the format. So there's videos, right? I'm one of those people I need to watch and listen to it. If you just give me something to read, I'm not going to pick up as much as I could if I saw the video. So I like the format of having videos and written. Believe it or not, I loved the homework. I have had homework in other courses, and I'm someone like I can pick things up quickly and I could spit it back out, and I can answer all those quiz questions and get them right, but that doesn't mean I learned anything and I can't necessarily do it practically. And the homework here makes us, oftentimes get on a video and pretend you're talking to a parent, and this is what you're going to talk with the parent about. And you have to come up with okay, here's a diet, or here's some suggestions. And that homework, I feel, just really makes you, it's not just head knowledge, you have to do something with it. And that is how I learn. And I think that a lot of people learn that way. So I love the homework. I can honestly say that the content was so much better than other programs I've been in. So I've done animal aromatherapy certifications through 2 different vendors. And what I learned here is so much better than either one of those. Again, just like everything, what we learn, the support, all of us, side by side. I was on the call right before here with another coach helping me with my dog. Because when you're working with your own pet, you don't see the things because it's your own pet, and someone will tell me something and I'm like, well, yeah, I would have told that to somebody else, but I can't even see it, right? Because I'm too close to it. So being able to help each other out. And I have to say, I think Dr. Ru's teaching style is exceptional. Just the genuineness, the kind-heartedness, all of us getting on calls with her, we can tell she cares, she's kind, she's compassionate. I don't see pride or anything, which I've seen in other teachers I've had. No insult to any of them, but Dr. Ruth is very humble. She's here to help us, and we're all here to be by each other's sides. And being together, we were all together, like she said, in September, at least many of us. And it was like one of the greatest days of the year for all of us to be together. And the community is more than we could have ever asked for. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm continually humbled by you all, to be fair. I knew I was doing something right, but the difference it's made for so many of you has just been truly the honor of my career. And Lenny is a very quiet person, but and Lenny, you're welcome to unmute yourself and say this, but he came from a military and law enforcement background, and so always had pets. But when he retired, he wanted to do something to help animals. And so he started, feeding crock pet diet to his own pets, and just seeing big approaches. And I appreciate Lenny's perspective on things, because it's a very different one from what most of us have experienced in this world. So we do, we've got students from all over, from all walks of life. We have, Audrey, that's a farm dean, not just a pharmacist. We have veterinary technicians. We have FNTP, which is like Leah and Delora. So human health coaching, FDNs, which is another human health coaching designation. And yeah, I mean, it just is amazing. And we're all here doing this because we want to make a difference for pets. We see them as the innocents and those that do not have a voice. And so we must raise our voice to support them. So Jackie, we've got, I think there's a couple of places where this link has been posted in a JPEG. Delora, if you could hit that one more time, download it. You'll be able to sign up a little later today. We are making a recording of this, and we will indeed have a replay available for you. And I think that's all I'm smart enough to say today. So thank you all, coaches and students, for showing up and supporting. I truly am honored every time you do this. For those of you new to our world, welcome in. We are excited to see you on coach calls starting very soon. And until we see you again, take good care, give all your pups and kittens a kiss, and keep doing the right thing. Keep smiling and keep knowing that there's another way and that you are part of the other way. Take good care, y'all.